In wrestling, there are 3 types of partnerships. There's the partnership where both members have fantastic memory and they go together like wine and cheese. There's the partnership that's just doomed to fail from the very beginning. Neither of the members work together at all. And then there's the third partnership, the partnership where it seems like both of the members are complete polar opposites and shouldn't work together at all, and yet when you put them in a ring together, or if you put them in front of a camera together, they make magic. That is the kind of partnership that we are going to be focusing on today. The oddball partnerships, the really memorable partnerships that everybody adores simply because, well, they just don't fit. They're the misfits, the oddballs. Hello everybody, this is Calcos back from a massive hiatus, of which that was not my fault.
Well, we were
all.
doing just
yes,
fine
I'm
without
here.
him. We didn't even know you were gone.
No,
in all seriousness, we've missed.
Okay.
We've gone a few casts without this guy. He's the third wheel to our excellent adventure. We're missing a fourth wheel. Don't ask. We're chucking along. We're a fucking tricycle. We make this work.
Don't hurt Calcos' feelings, damn it.
We're a big wheel, not a tricycle.
Who's the big wheel then?
I'm the big wheel. I'm 3 inches taller than both of you.
Touche. Anyway, yeah. I believe Calcos, you're the first one up for this.
Yes, like I said, we're going to be focusing on the oddest partnerships, and right away we might as well start with one of the oddest wrestlers to ever exist. Back around 2002, these two wrestlers, they were just trying to come together for something. One of them was trying to win the other's affections, and the other one just wasn't having it. But after spending a lot of time together, they realized, you know what? The whole is better than the sum of the parts. And they ended up making some great, great comedy while they were at it. Booker T and Goldust.
If you want a good chuckle, like just go on YouTube and find yourself, type in Booker T and Goldust, and anything you click on will be absolutely, like, just watch it. It is a blast to watch.
It honestly is.
It is an absolute blast. Like, Nikki's not kidding. Absolutely everything they put in front of that camera or in that ring is absolutely hilarious. And I think the dynamic between them, you have Booker T, who's
the straight man.
He's the straight man, of course, and then you have Goldust, who is as wacky as possible. And Goldust is trying as hard as possible to make this work, but Booker T is just having none of it. But after spending enough time together, they realize that, hey, you know what? I think together, we're better together. It's like that really crappy pop song. We're better together.
I was about to say opposites attract, but that works too.
Yeah.
Opposites do attract too, that works.
Yeah, some of their best ones include, I mentioned this one at one point before, but Booker T accidentally doesn't know what exactly a lumberjack match is, so he comes to the backstage area dressed as a lumberjack. That was fun. Also, Goldust showed up, I believe, as Darth Vader one time, and taught Booker T how to use a lightsaber.
And then there was the one time when Booker T was about to get nice and cozy with his wife, and then all of a sudden Goldust shows up in his bed, and Booker T just runs out, and his wife is just like, wait, what's going on? And he's like, oh, and then he takes off the covers to show some lingerie, and he's just like, I just bought this for nothing. And Booker T's wife is consoling him like, there, it's fine, it's okay, he's in one of his episodes.
It's Charmel.
Ridiculous.
Wow, did Charmel have to put up with some shit?
It was either that or the Boogeyman, and we all know how that went down. No, the thing that makes these two great is that while the segments were pretty freaking hilarious, they worked really well in the ring together too. These two are great singles wrestlers, and when you put them together like this, they work off of each other pretty well. And if I'm correct, they even got a World Tag Team title out of it too.
Yeah, and Vengeance, if I'm not mistaken.
Armageddon.
Oh.
Armageddon 2002, they defeated...
One of the two.
I'm looking it up right now. Armageddon 2002 defeating Edge and Christian, Lance Storm and William Regal, and the Dudley Boys.
Fatal 4-Way, all right.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So,
Yeah,
they can
wow.
say that this freaking weird pair-up, they got something out of it, at least. And that's something that you'll see as a recurring theme on this list.
Absolutely. Booker T and Goldust, very, very consistent, and I wish we got a little bit more out of them, but for what we have, man, just go watch. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
We're actually seeing a little bit of that now with R-Truth and Goldust. They're trying to make a sequel to that, and it's...
Please make this happen.
I
want
really
this to
do
happen.
too.
Please,
It would be
please.
pretty funny.
Yes.
Like it's funny enough now, but I hope they don't fizzle it out and just decide to say, fuck it, it's not working. It's working.
Dude, Goldust even brought the stutter
Yeah.
back.
Goldust is being relevant right now, so you got R-Truth with his character.
It warms the cockles of my heart.
Oh, I remember that one and how the Triple H and Ric Flair were just dying in the ring.
Oh, H corpse so hard. He wasn't supposed to laugh.
Well, how could you not?
I know.
Next one.
Okay, I'm up next. All right, I want you to imagine you are a 10-year-old kid and you're getting to go to WrestleMania. That was the case for a young Adam Copeland. He got to go to WrestleMania 7. I can't remember what was on the WrestleMania 7 card, because if it's a single-digit WrestleMania and it wasn't 1 or 2, and it wasn't 1 or 3, it was shit.
Was it Hogan versus Macho Man, I think?
That was 5.
Okay, it was 5. Never mind then.
Yeah, but
Hogan versus Warrior.
that was 6.
That's probably the one then,
No.
right?
I remember in the build-up for WrestleMania 18, the one that was in Toronto, they said that Edge went to WrestleMania 7 and saw that live. I think that might have been Hogan versus Psycho
7.
Sid.
Really?
Which would explain why it was shit. Fuck Psycho Sid. So, you're a 7-year-old kid and you're a 10-year-old kid or however old he was, and you're getting to watch Hulk Hogan and friends do things that they did in wrestling back then. And it was great. And they might have loved it. So.
Actually, Nikki, it was Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter at WrestleMania 7.
Oh, okay. That was back when he, aligned with the Ayatollah. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, so I think Psycho Sid was 9. It doesn't matter. So, cut to years later. Edge is now a superstar. Hogan has come back after his run in WCW. He's still Hollywood Hulk Hogan, brother. And on one episode of SmackDown, the two teamed up. It was on a July 4th, 2002 episode of SmackDown. Actually, I believe they had tag teamed up before this, but on the July 4th edition of SmackDown, Edge and Hulk Hogan teamed up to take on Billy and Chuck, who were the tag team champions at the time, and they won. And after the match, Hulk Hogan celebrated by waving around an American flag, which was just a little bit weird when you consider one tiny little speck of information. Anybody want to guess what's weird about that?
Edge is freaking Canadian.
Oh, Canada.
That wasn't weird at all, but you know what?
Our home and native land.
There's video out there somewhere of me trying to sing the Canadian national anthem, and I am not good at it. I don't know the words. Why would I need to know the words? I don't live anywhere near there. But either way. So, I am 100% sure, though, he did not give any shits at that point because he had just won the tag team championships with Hulk Hogan. Okay, imagine you've just seen WrestleMania or something. I can probably bet that at some point, if you were young when you were a wrestling fan, you dreamt of tag teaming with your favorite wrestler and winning the championships and getting to celebrate with them. I know I fucking have. Do you know how many times in SmackDown vs. Raw I made myself tag team champions with Rob Van Dam?
How many? I'm curious.
7.
Oh.
7 times. I think. I don't know. But either way,
True patriot love in all thy sons command.
Now you really lost me. Is that still part of the song? Oh,
Yes.
okay. He's from Maine. But,
With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. I know that last part, I don't think I sang it right, but fuck it, Canada.
Canada. But yeah, so, yeah, they ended up winning the tag team titles, and I believe they defended it just to throw on the anti-Canadian Semitism. That's not the right word. Throw in the anti-Canadianness even more. They ended up I believe they ended up defeating the Un-Americans. No, they ended up losing the titles to the Un-Americans at Vengeance, Christian and Lance Storm. So, like, Canada just got buried in that whole deal.
Sucks to be them.
That's all right. The Rousseau brothers will what's their call? What are they called? Fuck.
It's Rousseau?
The French tag team that was managed by No, that was managed by the Mouth of the South.
Oh.
From the early 90s, I think.
This is why we need to play Trivia Mania more.
Yeah.
The Fabulous something brother. Oh, the Fabulous Rougeau brothers. No, fucking.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
I'm gonna look it up. The Fabulous Rougeau. Is it the Fabulous Rougeau? Yes, the Fabulous Rougeaus. Okay, thank you. Yes.
All right. We learned something.
The Fabulous Rougeaus. They are the ultimate Quebecian tag team.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd say this team had a pretty decent run. They got the tag titles out of it, but that must be pretty cool if you're growing up and then you get to tag team with your idol and win the tag team championships with him. That's got to be something that you'll never forget. That's one thing in your little career that you look back on and just like, yeah, I teamed up with freaking my idol. What did you get to do?
And on top of that, just look at the two people you got there. You got Hollywood Hulk Hogan, who's still in his brother mode, and you got Edge.
Up and coming Edge.
Yeah, up and coming Edge, who's still like brooding and dark and I'm Edge, ooh, so edgy.
And then he turns into a freaking fanboy.
Yeah, I can promise you there were moments backstage where he was like, ah!
Pretty much.
Ow. But yeah, like, unfortunately, the team didn't last too long, so there's not a whole lot to say about these two.
But it created a moment. It created a very special SmackDown moment, so.
Yeah, and on top of that, like, if you want to talk about odd pairings, that is as bizarre as you're going to get. And it ended up, one of the as bizarre as it gets.
All right.
I believe you guys can come up with something a little better.
I don't have something as bizarre, but I have something that's pretty interesting. So I'm going to take people back to, let's see, 2007-ish. So, raise your hand if you remember Montel Vontavious Porter.
MVP! Represent the 305!
He was once in jail.
We try to not go into that, but yeah, MVP, when he made his debut in the WWE, he was riding pretty freaking high. He got his hands on the United States Championship fairly early in his career, and he was being a pretty big douche about it. One of his first major feuds that he was entering into was with Matt Hardy, and they kept going back and forth, and I believe on a August episode of SmackDown, MVP was bragging to good old Teddy Long saying, man, I'm the greatest champion of all time. I'll even defend the freaking tag team championships. Bring me a partner. I don't even care. First person who walks into the room. Big mistake, because Matt Hardy walks in. And so on the next episode of SmackDown, MVP and Matt Hardy beat Deuce and Domino. Anybody freaking remember Deuce and Domino? Like,
I remember Cherry.
Oh, God.
Boy, do I remember Cherry.
Oh, I do too.
How did she get into the ring with roller skates?
Yeah, there was something else I remember her from. Anyway, so.
You mean that ass?
There, that's my experience.
Yep, that was my first experience too. Them polka dots. Anyway, it was an early year for me. So. Yeah, this interesting feud between MVP and Matt Hardy crossed over to bring them the tag team titles and made MVP a dual champion. out of this, MVP managed to become one of the longest reigning United States champions till Ambrose took that. And what made this fun is that they kept going back and forth, trying to outdo one another. They had a friendly competition that you could slowly see was turning into something pretty violent. All throughout the while they had the tag titles, MVP is like, no, I'm not going to defend my United States title against you. And, well, the one good thing that came out of this is that it gave MVP something fun to work with, and it gave Matt Hardy some pretty good matches out of this, I would say.
Yeah, and on top of that, there was some just generally great moments. Like there was like they had a basketball shooting contest, which was like that was a lot of fun. And on top of that, there was one moment in there where like he tried to hit a 3-pointer and he was hyping it up really hard, and everybody was like, he's gonna miss it and he's gonna look dumb. And then he makes it, and just like, holy shit, he actually is as good as he says he is.
Yeah, MVP's a great wrestler. He doesn't get a lot of credit, which is unfortunate, even though he had a really freaking stupid finisher. Like his little freaking, I'm gonna hook the knee and wham, just that's not really looking good. It looks really stupid. Anybody can reverse out of that. Come on.
The worst part about it was that at the time it was a really popular finisher in the indies, so you were seeing it everywhere.
How is that effective, though? Wouldn't that do more damage to your knee?
I don't know.
That's dumb.
It's dumb.
Yeah, they didn't last very long as champions. They lasted about 2 to 3 months, and they had some okay defenses, but of course MVP is like, Herger, I'm MVP, fuck the tag team titles, you're on your own. Oh, I lost them? Oh, well.
This is all your fault.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but it did end up getting, I believe Matt Hardy ended up winning the United States title off of MVP eventually, so that was...
Yeah, after WrestleMania 24, I believe. Yeah, I remember that because MVP was in the Money in the Bank ladder match. He's going up to get the briefcase. There's no one else in the ring, and Matt Hardy just runs in and fucking twists of fate's ass off the ladder.
Nice.
It was a pretty epic moment. But yeah, these two had a great rivalry that gave some pretty memorable moments. Not so much with their reign, but I think it was more the feud they had going for it. So there's that.
Well, that's the thing with a lot of these, like, oddball pairings. Like, no, a lot of the time, the actual run as, like, champions isn't that long because they're, like, a lot of these teams, they don't really have, like, they have chemistry together, but the oddness doesn't last, and eventually they have to find something else to go on.
There is only one tag team I can think of that we have on this list that had a really long shelf life.
Yes.
But we'll get to that later.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will. But, like, MVP and Matt Hardy, like, they just worked off each other so well. Like, you have the well, as a face, he was just kind of a quiet guy, doesn't talk a lot, rather talks in the ring, or does his talking in the ring with his moves, and you got MVP who just talks.
Yeah, he's the talker. Matt Hardy did most of the wrestling for him.
Yeah, but it works out in the end because like these two they had a good dynamic together, and
oh yeah,
for the time that it was out there, it worked pretty darn well.
All right, next
up. This is the only, actually, no, it's not the only, but this is probably the most insignificant tag team to have its own name. And there's a reason why it had its own name. It's because it was batshit crazy, but also at the same time, hysterical. Around the late 90s, there was a man who was introduced to the WWE as Steve Blackman.
Oh, boy.
Steve Blackman was an ass kicker. He was ripped. He had knowledge in all kinds of different weapons. He had lots of martial arts experience.
The Lethal Weapon.
But the guy also had a face that just didn't move. His the amount of charisma he had was nothing. Like, you think Roman Reigns has no charisma? No. Steve Blackman has no charisma. I don't think the guy even knows how to blink. Okay.
That's terrifying.
So what happens when a guy like Steve Blackman comes across a guy like Al Snow? A guy who is legitimately crazy. A guy who brings a chopped off head of a mannequin to the ring. A guy who just won't stop rambling about all the stupid ideas he has. Well, when you combine them, you get the infamous, the amazing, the awe-inspiring Head Cheese.
Why Head Cheese?
Why Head Cheese? Okay, so first off, we have to start at the beginning. Al Snow wants to be Steve Blackman's partner because Steve Blackman. We were chanting that at MagFest during the WWF No Mercy tournament, which was run by Matthew of Boxhamania, by the way.
Nice.
We kept chanting that because people kept picking Steve Blackman.
Hey, he's broken as fuck. He's like Bo Jackson in Tecmo's Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay, so what happens is that he wants to team up with Steve Blackman because he finds a lot of potential in him. And he says something like, I once worked with a guy that had 3 personalities. Mick Foley, you have no personality. It'll be a perfect fit. So he says that, and he's trying to come up with names for the tag team. And they're all bad. Like, really, really shitty names. But the thing is, Al Snow figured out that Steve has an affinity for cheese.
Oh, no.
Steve Blackman likes cheese a lot. So he says, okay, you know what? You like cheese. Cheese is great. You like cheese. I bring a head to the ring, so why don't we name ourselves Head Cheese? And of course, Steve Blackman's completely against it, but the crowd has spoken.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
He gets fucking Steve Blackman to come to the ring in a goddamn cheese hat, and
like
he's...
the one that the Green Bay Packers use?
Yes, and he's coming up with all these crazy ideas to Steve about, like, a movie he could shoot about time-traveling cops, where Steve Blackman is the star. And, And eventually, I mean, he even brings Steve to a nursing home where he tries to get him to do stand-up comedy. And he's like, and Blackman, of course, is reading from cue cards. He reads a joke like, your grandfather is so old that blah, 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 blah. And then there's an old woman that says, my grandfather died 35 years ago, you heartless bitch. And then Steve Blackman beats the shit out of her. So... I don't think they ever won any titles.
Is fun.
I don't think they ever won any titles. I don't think they even wrestled once. But they're known not for their wrestling. They're known because they worked so well together outside of the ring, better than just about everybody else. They made meaningful conversation. They told incredible jokes. Al Snow was just a great wit, and Blackman knew how to respond to it. He was very, very good at the deadpan responses and to knowing how to get that response from Al to drag out more from him. So they're not known for their in-ring antics. They're known for their out-of-ring antics, and they're one of the best at it by far.
That is some amazing stuff. Like I know that Steve Blackman, like, outside of this, like, the only thing that I know Steve Blackman for is just being the biggest ass kicker in the world. Like, he's basically the WWE's version of Chuck Norris. He's just like, I'm here and you are now dead. That's how things are going to be. So just to see him as part of a comedy angle like this, and such an endearing one, like Head Cheese, is just wow. Wrestling is fun. Like,
go look it up. Not a lot of people remember it, but go look it up because it is hysterical. Absolutely hysterical.
And then I think we move from one funny feud to a probably equally or even more funny feud.
The ones I'm going to bring up, they had the comedy that you're talking about, but the difference is these two guys also worked in the ring together really, really well. Now, the Attitude Era was really cool because it made so many people. Like, there were so many guys who were at the top of the card. And when you have that many guys at the top of the card, you gotta take the people who aren't in the main event at the moment and find something else to do with them. Now, you got Mick Foley, who is, he's a bit of a goofball. He has that weird kind of charisma where he looks like a dweeb and he acts like a dweeb, but goddamn do we love that little dweeb. And then you've got The Rock, who is the most arrogant guy in the world. Like, dude thinks that he is the Messiah. So let's put these two together. What fun can come of this, I wonder? Well, there was some fun with the Rock and Sock connection. Okay, here's all you need to know about the Rock and Sock connection. These guys had a promo that lasted like 35 minutes.
20.
Well, shit.
Get wrecked.
Can we do this over again? But no, fuck it. Me getting wrecked is funny.
Is this the legendary promo of legend that we've heard?
This is your life.
Ah, yes. If we ever make a video about the greatest promos of all time, this'll probably be on here.
And it's just Mick, like, first of all, they're celebrating The Rock's birthday, okay? So he brings The Rock down, and he brings all these people to the ring, like his high school crush, his football coach, his one of his teachers, and every time I come up there, Rock says, "Oh, I remember you," and then he just rips them a new one. I'm gonna take that whistle, turn that sumbitch sideways, and shove it straight up your candy ass. Sorry, I grabbed the microphone there.
It's all for effect. It's okay. This is definitely like the bar when it comes to oddball pairings. Like, if you look at oddball pairings, you're looking at this one. Their special move was a double people's elbow, which was hilarious because Jerry the King Lawler always loved to call the people's elbow the most electrifying move in sports entertainment. It's the people's elbow, and so he's trying to call it. And he's just like, the most electrifying... Because he doesn't want to call it when Mick Foley's doing it, but he has to, so he just has a seizure right there. He just can't handle it.
You missed the best, or I forgot to mention the best part of the This Is Your Life thing. Like, at the very end, even after all of that, 20 minutes later, The Rock appreciates all of this, but my birthday's May the 2nd, you stupid son of a bitch.
Perfect. Perfect.
I loved the chemistry that these two had. They had some fucking excellent matches revolving around like WWF Championship at the time. They had a lengthy feud there. They had a very interesting tag team title reign, I believe. These two got the tag team titles. That was a real shock when I first saw this. And let's see, if I'm correct, they came back together for WrestleMania 20.
Yep, to fight Evolution, 2 out of 3 handicap match.
It's so interesting to see these two, because they're both equally great wrestlers. They're both great on the mic. They're great storytellers. So it's a match made in fucking heaven for these two to get the titles, to run with them, to just do whatever the fuck they want.
I am 100% sure that they had free reign to do whatever the hell they wanted, because some of the shit that they did was just weird, and it was great.
Yeah, it was pretty much the last thing Mick Foley did before he retired from full-time competition.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. He kind of had to, like, a lot of the moves that he made were to lengthen out his career, because he was on borrowed time very early in his career. Like, that's why he became more of a comedy guy later in his career and didn't do quite as much hardcore stuff. And with the Rock and Sock connection, he helped lengthen his career a little longer by becoming a tag team guy, do half the work. Like,
I do like how, of course, Rock had his and millions thousands of fans. Fucking Mick Foley goes, and the dozens and dozens of mankind's fans.
Oh, if there's one thing Mick Foley can do, it's self-depreciation.
I still remember one promo they had where freaking... what was it? The Rock, was talking and his sunglasses fell off and Mick Foley just picks them right back up like nothing happened.
There was another one where The Rock is, they're standing on opposite sides of a corner, so they can't see each other, but they're talking about how, maybe this whole rocket sock connection thing isn't working.
Yes, I remember this one. The one where, Rock has, the mini phone or whatever.
Yeah, and he's talking to someone on his phone, but Mick thinks he's talking to him, and Rock inadvertently ends up talking him out of, killing the group. It is just comedy.
You don't see that much. We have the Attitude Era had great little oddity there for the Rocket Sock connection. And for that time, that was the bar. And, well, we all know how some bars must be broken. So I'm going to take us from the Attitude Era to about 4 years ago. So this is our generation now.
The Now Era.
Really? That's what we're calling it? The Now Era?
No.
The Reality Era? The PG Era? The fucking...
We're still in the Reality Era, but after Roman wins the championship from Triple H at WrestleMania, it's probably going to be a new era after that. We just don't know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, the Roman era, the Roman Empire, the Age of Roman.
Ignoring Reality Era.
Pretty much. So, taking us to the Reality Era, good old 2012, let's talk about Kane and Daniel Bryan.
The greatest odd partnership ever.
In all honesty, yeah, this is my favorite out of all of them. So, good old Kane and Daniel Bryan were having their down times. They weren't getting the championship. They were getting more and more frustrated with each other. This is the time when AJ Lee was general manager. There was a long story between her and Daniel Bryan and all sorts of other stuff. God, I miss AJ. AJ, as general manager, decided to put Kane and Daniel Bryan into anger management sessions. These anger management session promos are some of the funniest shit I have seen WWE come up with.
Well, it actually goes back a little bit further than that, because I remember these two were, I believe there was a triple threat at some pay-per-view, which I cannot for the life of me remember.
Probably Over the Limit or something.
Over the Limit sounds like it was it, between Daniel Bryan, Kane, and Orton. And I believe Orton was the champion at that point.
Really? I thought it was Punk at the time.
This was back when there were two championships.
Okay, wow. My history is a little bit scrambled there then.
Yeah. Okay, I pulled it up because I was going to write a thing about Daniel Bryan, but I never got around to actually uploading it, So, after AJ became general manager, she forced Bryan and Kane into a match at SummerSlam that year. Bryan won, and after that, AJ forced the two together. They won a number one contenders match for the tag team titles, and ended up beating Kofi Kingston and R-Truth at Night of Champions to win the tag team titles.
Still remember that, where Kane's up on the top rope and Daniel Bryan hits him and Kane just fucking falls onto Kofi and does 1, 2, 3. Holy shit, we're tag team champions. No, as they said, I am the tag team champions.
No, I am the tag team champions.
No, I am the tag team champions.
No, I'm Spartacus.
Pretty much.
Oh, sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. Wrong.
No, it was still great though, because when these two were a tag team, we got a lot of great stuff out of it. We got the christening of the name Team Hell No. We got the fucking hilarious Hug It Out segment. These two just worked well together, and they didn't even need to do much. The crowd just fell in love with them. They rolled with it. They held the tag team titles for, I believe, more than 200 days. 7 months.
7 months.
They won
so
it.
They held the belts for a
7 months.
while.
They won it at Night of Champions, and they lost it at, I believe, Extreme Rules
against the Shield.
Yeah, that's 7
They
months.
defended
if not
them
more.
successfully at WrestleMania. That's a pretty big accomplishment right there for those two.
Defended against Ziggy. Was that
was that really their name? Please tell me it wasn't.
Big Z, maybe?
Big Z, Ziggy.
Ziggy is better. But
Yeah, let's go
of
with
course,
that.
their anger management things are just absolutely unbelievable. Friggin' I still remember the trust fall segments where Daniel Bryan does the trust fall with Kane, and Kane catches him, and he's like, I didn't know you were going to catch me. And Kane was like, I didn't know if I was going to let you fall or not. And so they look at each other going like, oh, wow. And so Kane and Daniel
Fucking
Bryan...
bromance was born.
Kane and Daniel Bryan decide to try this out on another person. And the other person does the trust fall and lands flat on his back on the floor. Daniel Bryan and Kane do not catch him. And Daniel Bryan goes, I thought you were going to catch him. Kane goes, I thought you were going to catch him. And then they just look at each other for a little bit. And then, of course, there's the first segment where Kane tells his entire kayfabe life story.
Oh my god, that's my favorite one ever. My favorite part is at the very end where he goes, and for reasons never properly explained, I have an unhealthy obsession with torturing Pete Rose. Oh, I died!
They play it off so well.
My favorite, though, is the recreation of the what is it? I forget exactly which movie it is. There's something about Mary, I think, or I can't remember.
Oh yes,
exactly.
yes, I remember. There's something. They at WrestleMania 21 they spoofed this with Kurt Angle and Christy Hemme.
Yep, and they did it. They did it even better with Daniel Bryan and Kane, where they're just at the table. Kane's going, and Bryan's going, yes, yes. And then when they're done, they just start panting. And friggin' Mae Young at the bar goes, I'm having what they're having.
When Harry Met Sally. I believe that was When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally, thank you very much. That was such a funny segment. It's on YouTube. Go watch it. Watch their shit. It's never ending and it doesn't stop. Like, all of the tag teams on this list lasted for a couple of months, maybe like 4 at the most. This one lasted for 8 or 9, if not more than that. This tag team had an incredible shelf life, and you don't see a lot of comedy gimmicks or comedy partnerships have that long of a shelf life, but they kept going because they made it funny. It's like the New Day. Every time you think the New Day is going to jump the shark, they bring you back in. They bring you back in, and they've been doing this for almost a year. Who knows when it's going to stop? All I know is they haven't stopped yet, and they're still funny. So
the good thing about this one is that Kane is for. No, let me try that again. The good thing though about this is that Kane has been in a lot of multiple oddity tag team relationships. He's been in one with RVD. He's been in one with X-Pac.
We could have very easily put the one with X-Pac on here because that was weird.
X-Pac, RVD, Hurricane. Then Kane has a long list of like tag team championships with the weirdest of people where he's always played like the straight man. Here he leans just a little bit to the goofy side, and it's so interesting to compare this to the one with RVD where he's just completely straight. Here there's a little bit more goofiness to him, and it's just the right amount for us to believe that Kane is still the fucking favorite demon guy, but it's still, it really treads the line, and it's so great how they played that out.
Yeah, this little goat guy is just bringing out the weirdness.
It's weird, it's funny. Team Hell No, probably one of the best oddities, tag team champions that we've ever had, right up there with Rock and Sock.
And what made it good is that, or one of the things that made it good, they carried the tag team division for a good long time, because, like, the other people that were in that division at the time, like
Rhodes Scholars,
the original primetime players, like,
there really wasn't much to work with there. But they made it work. You're right, they did carry that division for quite a while in a time where tag teams were kind of just a tag team that wasn't even an official tag team. They literally just threw 2 people together, and that worked. So that says a lot for how they managed to save the tag team division for a while. Which makes me wonder, actually, do you think the New Day would have been on this list, like when they first started out?
I think you could make that case, because you got Kofi Kingston, who has been babyface his entire career, just high-fly, jumpy guy, the gimmick. You got Big E, who has been strong guy henchman for his entire career. Well, now that I'm saying this, like you've got the pieces here of like each of these guys has the individual pieces of something good. Like
what could have been a nation of
Yep.
domination, but
that would have been strange. But like it might have worked, but seeing what we have now with the New Day, like it's kind of hard to imagine what would happen if these guys had hit the go button on the Nation of Domination thing. Like it just got kind of like it was really ill-timed because
yeah.
like Ferguson had just happened.
Yeah. It was right.
Although
at
to
the
be
time.
fair, if they really wanted to go full on, like that might have been the perfect time to do it, but it's rough.
No,
It's kinda
this
tough
is
to go.
better.
Okay.
Yeah, I will say 100% sure whatever they had planned with that, I like this version better.
Yep. New Day, I think, is the oddball couple of the, well, oddball trio, I should say, of the current generation, but we're gonna get more after them, just like we have a lot of them before them, and I can't wait to see what they do. That's WWE's biggest strengths. Take a dude and another dude, and then mash them together until their private parts look like rhubarb. And you have...
I know that reference.
I was conceived in a short bus. My mom was mentally challenged. My dad was also mentally challenged. They mashed their
Dude,
private
do
parts
you know-
together until they look like rhubarb.
I have no idea what this reference is.
Regular car reviews.
This is my
It's
car.
on YouTube
This is my
and-
car. This is all my car. This is my red 13 suit and a dick hole.
It's called Regular Car Reviews, and it is weird. Like I'm not even that into car culture, and this is the funniest shit.
So I think we've gotten to the end of this, so please go put down in the comments what your favorite oddball couple in the WWE is. It probably will be one on here, because other than these 6, there's not really ones that are worth noting.
Yeah,
I mean,
William Regal and Tajiri was pretty good.
There were William Regal and Eugene, too, and then, like...
Oh, William Regal and
how did we
Eugene.
forget those? Oh, we'll put them as an honorable mention.
Regal played off people so well.
It was so
just-
cool back then. Anyway, yeah,
back
go
then.
ahead. Yeah, back then, like 2000, early
As in,
2000
he's not now.
Well, what is William Regal doing now?
He's the general manager of NXT.
I meant, like, wrestling-wise.
Not a goddamn thing, but still.
Okay.
Ta-da!
So, yeah, go ahead and put down in the comments. Do your Twitter, as usual. Twitty twat. You know, you have our Twitters and stuff.
No, stop. No, that's bad.
What? Oh, yeah, twat, whatever. What the fuck ever.
You're
Tweet
bad.
us.
Twat.
At Toon
Twat
Critic.
us.
Yeah,
Oh, that
send
sounds
send
so
us
wrong.
your twat. I couldn't do it.
Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
We're done here. I think
We're done.
here.
We were
You
all
know-
conceived in a short bus.
God fucking damn it.
Fucking twat us. Send us your twat.
At Twat Critic Y2K.
Fucking
At Twatco CC. And Twatty V Nikki or Twatty V ML. Good night, everybody.